Is this thing on? Hello? Should be popping on right about now. Timed it down to a second, baby. Let's get stylish. Right, so introductions as usual. I'm Arthur Wolf, today joined by Jamie the D and the inimitable Samurai Fuchs. Promises. Yeah, promise. Today we are starting our top 20 games wherein you are the villain. And I'll get this out of the way. You can expect complete technical chaos today, because I am going to be playing games from roughly... well, I think the oldest one is from 1991 originally. But why? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
They would think that you would be talking to yourself for an hour again. Oh!
Well, you know, people know that I sit around and talk to myself.
Yeah, so my promise, which Arthur doesn't believe, is that I'm not going to fall asleep this time. I am aided by Dr. Pepper, of course.
The evil Dr. Pepper.
Hi once again, everybody. Sorry about that.
Dr. Pepper smokes and, yeah, just pretty much jacked up.
Yeah, jacked up is the word. So anyway, as I was saying, we have games from 1991 through up to 2011. And it's going to be exciting to see how many of these games will actually work well enough to be streamed on a Win 7 64-bit computer assembled in 2010.
Yeah, especially since you're going to be playing with DOSBox, which is always fun streaming. Cigarettes are actually depressants, but when you're not on cigarettes, you get kind of weird. So.
Yes. Alright. Well, let's play Evil Genius. Short about Evil Genius, it's about being a Bond villain, basically.
Nice.
Only they mucked everything up. So it comes down to basically desperately trying to keep track of your cat-like henchmen running around, hurting them like an idiot.
So, in other words, great idea, terrible execution.
Yep.
I wouldn't say terrible execution, but pretty damn bad. I'll explain as we play.
Yep.
Video hints will be off, and we will be playing on medium, and that silhouette totally has nipples, by the way.
It does, actually.
Yes, it
Very
does.
perky ones, too.
Right, so we can play as 3 evil villain stereotypes. We can play as Maximilian, who is literally Bluefield from Bond movies. Alexis, who is femme fatale, and Shen Yu, who is an incredibly offensive far Asian stereotype.
Of course.
As Bond films did, and many other pulp films did. I think femme fatale.
Voting for the lady, are we?
However, the stream is overwhelmingly going Shen Yu.
And I like playing as Shen Yu because he has the greatest special ability.
Oh, we got a couple of them, but Shen Yu it is, I guess.
A quixotic super criminal, I like that. Turned special agent, turned evil genius. He is naturally based on the pulp character Fu Manchu, who began as a background criminal overlord and then became a hero. So by the time it became really popular, and then became a super mega villain. Once comics rolled around and they needed a sinister looking Chinese man to be the villain because, you know, Asians. Always up to their little tricks.
China, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing basically came from Victorian values and Chinese isolationism.
Yep. Also, he has an emerald on his forehead for some reason.
Nice.
Never really explained. Alright. We have a new henchman. Our main henchman is Lord Kane, who is basically, well, the Undertaker. And he's really, really dangerous and mean and stuff.
There are worse henchmen to have.
Yeah, there are. And this is our, well, secret mountain base right here. That we are going to start building. First of all, we need to check our objectives. We need to build a barracks, which needs to contain at least one bunk bed and a locker. Because that constitutes a barracks, I guess. One bunk bed.
Well, at least one bunk bed.
Yeah.
You know, you could be really evil and put all your henchmen on timeshare.
Alright.
There's nothing wrong with trying to foster team spirit by making people pack in the barracks.
Let us just begin constructing some stuff then. Now, you might think, hey, I'll just put the barracks right here at the opening, right? Wrong! Never build anything within the first roughly 200 yards of corridor, because that will ruin the mid-game.
Yep.
Why? Because they're stupid. Right, we also have another objective to take care of, some pesky investigators that are hiding somewhere on the island, so let's hop around a bit and see if we can find them. Even if they have even spawned yet, that is.
I don't think they spawn until the barracks is built.
Yeah. Well, that gives us some time.
So let's get that shit built.
Let's do it.
Get on with it. Also, beware of super rock that is so hard that you can't build on it because rocks.
Because the game wanted to be Dungeon Keeper so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, see those red bits? I think... Yeah, they're basically bad pathing.
Now, gentleman starts poking around. He carries a box full of dynamite. He places the dynamite. They detonate the dynamite, and corridors magically appear. Because super science.
Run away! This is true, Jav. Every game should aspire to be Dungeon Keeper, but not every game can capture the magic. Evil Genius and Dungeons are both pretty much symptomatic of this.
Yeah. They go in with the best of intentions, but they have no idea what actually made Dungeon Keeper a good game.
Yeah.
Which, of course, results in the fact that the game they make are terribly good. But that's okay. Because no one actually gives a shit anyway. Right. Take a while for our hapless henchmen to actually get around to, you know, do what they're supposed to do, but that's something you learn very quickly in this game, that this is how it works.
Yeah, henchmen are slow and thick, like they should be.
Yeah. Comically so at times. Also, one of the best ways to actually keep henchmen motivated is by executing other henchmen in front of them. Which I feel is a nice touch. That is actually one of your abilities as the Evil Genius. You can basically target a henchman for execution in front of the others.
As an example.
Yeah. You basically make an example of an innocent man simply because he was the one closest at hand.
Lovely.
Yeah, which begins another thing that is symptomatic about games wherein you play an evil person, in that for some reason all evil people are retarded. They waste resources and manpower on completely idiotic projects, kill their own men, and for whatever reason never quite seem to have a goal with all their eviling. They are just evil.
Otherwise known as chaotic stupid.
Pretty much.
No, Dungeon Keeper, at least, you know, you slap them round for a reason.
Yeah, make the bastards speed up a bit.
Yeah. Although there's nothing quite like murdering a level 5 knight with a level 10 imp.
Sign that you're playing a good game. Everyone keeps talking about a completely different game.
Yeah.
Now, watch this henchman who takes cover from an explosion by standing next to freshly placed dynamite.
Nice.
Yeah, he eventually gets the right idea. Because another job has turned up.
Yeah.
I seem to always turn up on the streams where we end up talking about completely irrelevant things, Arthur.
That's what streams are for, though.
True.
Night on might as well be Skull Crusher Mountain.
Jonathan Cooltoon music. Jesus.
No.
So, henchman, what are you up to?
Henchmen are probably
carrying
sleeping
dynamite?
because it's night.
No, they
No,
they
no.
never. They actually never sleep until you build the barracks. It is
That's
first
kind of
when you
funny.
give the first when you give them the choice to sleep that they actually decide to. Otherwise, they will just run around and work like ants until the moment they die.
So I'm assuming they die quicker if they don't sleep or something.
You have
They-
to take care of their needs, the Bond people's needs.
Yeah.
It ends up being Theme Evil Island.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and all methods of actually making money and expanding your criminal empire are completely abstracted to a world map, which means that gold bars just appear out of nowhere at the pier and then they bring them in. So you don't actually ever do anything locally other than kill people that arrive to poke around. Now then, let's place a door and some briefcase racks. You can hear the ladies screaming and yelling in the background. It also does not ever shut up, unless you
Lovely.
unless you turn off voice, in which case you can't hear anything. So that doesn't really help.
I wish there was a way that you could literally, like, shoot the person that's manning the PA system or whatever.
Find her in a secret room somewhere on the island. Just send in your henchmen to beat the shit out of her.
Yeah, she's the real villain of the game.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. Now, some people in the stream might be thinking, well, this isn't so bad. Well, here's the thing. It will always be this slow.
Yep.
Fun.
There is no way of actually speeding up the game. And nothing ever really happens locally until investigators arrive. And here's the thing. If an investigator dies on your island, that increases the suspicion level. So they send more investigators. And if any of those investigators die, suspicion levels go even further. To the point where you will constantly have roving bands of heavily armed commandos just streaking around the island looking for you. And you will spend a lot of time and money to murder the shit out of every single one of them.
Yeah, eventually it becomes kind of production line murder.
So it's a negative to kill your enemies? That's not evil genius at all.
No, you have to leave them in easily escapable traps.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right, so this is our control room. Here's where they do lots of computery things. And basically the better staffed it is, and the more equipment it has, the more efficient our operations will be on the world map. We also added a time clock, because if they are forced to stamp in and out, that apparently increases their willingness to work. How that makes any sense, I do not know. Oh, hello, look at this. Investigators just rambling about inside of our secret base. Well then, let's send in Lord Kane to handle that. Excuse me, sir, I'm going to punch you in the face now.
The thing is, if they die, then the suspicion level goes up. But I believe if they get out, the suspicion level goes up even higher, doesn't it?
Yep. Also, now, every time someone dies, you get a body bag with the emblem of the specific anti-criminal organization they belong to. Now, that would be fine if those, you know, just disappeared. But here's the thing. You need to store body bags.
Well, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, you build a refrigerator room and proceed to fill it with coat hangers upon which you place seemingly endless freaking amounts of body bags. Which in turn means that roughly 3/4 or so into the game, every other room in the base is a refrigerator room filled with body bags.
I would repackage it, Arthur. Don't call it a refrigerator room. Call it a hall of achievement. Much more positive.
Yeah, Lumberjack wants to check, can't we at least sell their organs or anything? No, they are just dead weight. Haha, puns. Now, also Frankenstein brings up an important point, that while you operate abroad to make money, no matter how little, you immediately start accruing heat, and as your heat level goes up, they will continuously send more and more investigators to your island, because, you know, they track the people in yellow jumpsuits driving speedcraft filled with stolen gold back to it. Because henchmen are stupid. And what you basically have to do is bounce between different areas on the world map to make sure that, you know, you don't accrue too much heat from any given organization, because then things go crazy.
Mm.
Minion management. Well, let's pour some money into recruitment. The more money you basically throw at people, the more minions you get at a faster pace. Now, your total capacity is based both on the level, how much living space you have prepared, and some other tiny background factors that the game doesn't actually document.
Yeah.
I feel like you could pretty easily mod this game to be about modern politics as well as evil genius-ery.
You could just rename it FEMA Camp and every conspiracy theorist would buy it.
Exactly.
And no, you will actually have to run back to the HQ for dynamite every damn time.
Yep. There is no dynamite storage in the building. And when they go off to... yeah. And when they go off to purchase things, they head over to the closest strong room to grab a briefcase full of gold, and then they run all the way out and back. Why? Well, because Now then, Shinju, how about you stop standing around there and actually head over to your control room?
That would require the AI actually doing something, Arthur. We can't have that.
Oh, and this is another interesting thing. Due to that little spot of action earlier, one of our henchmen dropped a briefcase in the blueprints of the door. And that means that we can't build the door because there's an object in the way. So some happy henchman decided to, you know, just drop that shit over there and walk off. And now this door will never be built until someone decides to get rid of that briefcase.
Which they won't until the construction job's finished.
Yep.
So you're going to actually have to despawn that door so they finish construction and pick it up.
Yep.
Awesome programming. Awesome programming.
I also like that it goes remove offending objects while you do not actually have the ability to interact with physical objects in the world. It's like, what exactly is it you want me to do?
And Greeder, you're quite right, it does sort of remind you of Dwarf Fortress because there is a lot of micro in this game.
Yep.
And this is where a lot of the Dwarf Fortress clones fall down because of the micro.
Which no one seems to be able to figure out how the hell it works.
Yeah.
Right, we've improved our minion capacity, and I'm actively recruiting minions, so they should be showing up in short order, which will make things move a bit faster, but will also start crowding the corridors. And sooner or later, minions will start colliding with one another or decide to do the exact same job at the same time.
And hey, as noted, the case appears to be gone, finally.
Yeah. This fine guy... Okay, wait. Oh, there we go. Okay, okay. So... yeah, here's another example of brilliance. This guy arrived earlier with the box containing the door, saw the briefcase, went whelp, and just dropped the box on the floor. And jogged off. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means that sometimes they can actually block construction by dropping the construction box on the construction before it's finished.
Yep.
Wow.
90s pathfinding and programming, people.
Yeah.
Reports indicate that trained civilians are holidaying on the island. Capture any prisoner maid. Haha, you don't need to tell me twice.
As far as I recall, the maid is actually a French maid style as well, isn't she?
Yep, that she is. You might have noticed that we also gained access to the armory and the freezer, and well, as I explained earlier, we're going to need a freezer. Now, the problem with freezers is that they accrue absolute shitloads of heat if they are discovered by an investigator and have bodies in them. So freezers also need to be put as far away from the entrance as possible.
Which is going to cost money.
And then there's the problem that there will be nigh constant traffic between the island and the corridors and the freezer. Which means that minions will be running a sort of strange gauntlet back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then you just figure, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just building that freezer right by the door and I don't even care.
So what I'm learning is evil geniusing ain't easy.
It really ain't. Just let the heat brew, because we're just streaming it. There's no need to be serious about it.
Yeah. We're speed building at this point.
Yeah.
Our goal is to be entertaining, not skillful.
That is pretty much it. I can make no other claims for my performance in these streams. Alright, let's see. How many minions do we have on hand? Well, we have 9 minions now. Which means, of course, that 6 of them are in the control room. The rest are nowhere to be seen. have a little circle of influence here, and as long as there are henchmen or minions within that circle, they will work faster and more efficiently.
The boss is coming, look busy.
Yeah, pretty much. Alright, let's access the world domination screen. You see that we have various crazy stuff going on. We can check various areas. And we can send off workers and other minions to perform special missions. That will then further our work for,
Dominating the world.
Yeah.
Wow, Arthur, we've actually broken 60 people viewing the stream right now.
They all came for the wrestling.
They came for the wrestling and stayed for my tweet, I'm guessing.
Also, yes, you can send people to Antarctica, but there's no point because it has an income level of 0.
Aw, that sucks.
But it is actually an efficient way, because you can just send these assholes off there. And as long as they're there, they're not mucking up your evil lair.
Yeah, pretty much so. You send the guys who are breaking the pathfinding to Antarctica to get the non-existent money that's there.
You should be able to send all your body bags to Antarctica. Giant freezer.
Right, well, let's just send off 2 operatives to North Africa to, steal. And yeah, stealing. The minions orders to steal, they siphon money from the region and periodically bring their spoils back to the island. How does it work? Who knows? Now, what's this little counter here, you wonder? Well, that's basically a countdown timer to how long it will take the local authorities to figure out that we are responsible and start sending people to fuck with our shit. So what does that mean for us? Well, it means that you will have to pop into this screen once every 10 seconds or so to make sure that that hasn't run down.
Aha.
Let's put in some freezer racks. Freezer racks.
Let's do that.
And set up our armory, of course. In which, most importantly, we can place holding cells. You can also have a time clock in the armory for some reason. To make sure that people only grab guns when they are scheduled to, I guess.
Why not?
Why not? Why not?
And yeah, no door to the freezer racks or the entrance at the moment.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Right, outdoors. So, we have 2 variants here, I can just mention. We have the evil base entrance, which is literally just a freaking hole into the mountain and looks suspicious as hell. We also have the topside shack, which is basically which is basically a little house. And you start with one, and there is never any reason whatsoever to build a second one.
Huh.
Now then, let's see. Where is that French maid popping about, I wonder?
If I had a nickel for every time I've heard that.
What, where is the French maid?
Yes.
Fuchs used to work at a high-class hotel in Las Vegas.
Yeah, you've caught me.
As a maid.
Yeah, that's the part I don't usually tell people.
Right, well these idiots are up for that. Let's see what's going on in Africa. Well, we have these guys over here. And we have, thanks to them, we have a total income of $400 a minute.
Ooh.
Which is nothing.
Mm.
Hey,
Well,
I
you-
would take $400.
You are stealing from, Nigeria.
Now, don't be like that. Now, it should also be just brought a point here that stealing money takes quite a bit of time, and you need a lot of money to actively expand, and if you manage to make money fast enough, you can be guaranteed that there will be shitloads of agents invading your base.
Yep,
Because they follow that money train. They follow that money train back and they smash down your doors.
They should have made a feature where you could actually make money, scamming people on the internet and stuff.
The internet was still in its infancy when this game was released, sadly.
Sadness.
The Nigeria letters were a new and amazing thing that everyone was still falling for.
Well, if they ever made a sequel, they should definitely do that.
To be fair, the Nigerian spam letters and their spin-offs won the Ig Nobel Prize for Literature.
Ha! I never knew that.
Yeah, because one of the spin-offs was, "Hello, my name is Uruk, and I come from Mordor. I am escaping Lord Sauron's evil regime."
That's fantastic.
Yep. Meanwhile, that maid will take forever to capture because nobody can be arsed.
Those elusive French maids.
Yep. Basically everyone is sitting around in the control room instead. And we, of course, being the evil genius, can't actually do jack shit, because that's not what we do.
So what exactly do maids
One minion is
accomplish?
desperately trying to catch up with the fat lady in the dress, and he's narrowly managing it. He's kicking her in the shins.
She's fast.
Go, bro, go.
She probably runs a 4.40.
And then he just grabs her by the scruff of her neck and carries her off one-handed. Now, you might wonder why I just not conquer the world with my gorilla strength minions, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
what do the
look,
maids do
holy
exactly?
That's a good question. No, what does a maid do? Well, by capturing a maid and interrogating her, we learn of this mysterious thing known as a hotel.
Huh.
By the way, we're getting pretty close to heat, from what I remember at the counter.
Yep, probably. Oh wait, it popped down. So we're doing fairly good so far. Right, well, we'll send this lovely lady off to the holding cells, and then we are going to interrogate the shit out of her.
Sure, interrogate. I'm sure that's what you mean.
Yeah, that's right. Kick her in the ribs. Now we can build an interrogation chair.
Hooray.
And interrogation chairs are basically rip-offs of the torture rack from Dungeon Keeper.
Yep.
Of course.
They're also pretty terrible chairs, but I guess that's part of what makes it interrogatey.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want an interrogation chair to be terribly ergonomic, now would you?
And the minion grabs a briefcase of money and he runs the whole damn way up through the base, and then he runs over here to
be fair, our
right
villain could
construction.
probably put his henchman in the Olympics and get his money that way.
True.
You know, they just fucking own the
Look at
marathon.
him go. Look at him go.
Marathon, weightlifting, wrestling, any of those.
Not wrestling, actually. They're terrible at fighting.
Yeah.
They
Unfortunate.
somehow possess superhuman strength and endurance, but they'll just flail like children in case it actually comes to fisticuffs.
And as mentioned, the forces of justice do indeed send thieves. because this
Yep.
really is a Dungeon Keeper ripoff.
They also send saboteurs that basically just walk in, set bombs, blow your expensive shit up, and then leave.
It's a shame you can't invest money in Cobra Kai self-defense lessons for your minions.
Just teach them all yellow bamboo, and they'll be able to kill someone at 30 feet with their mind bullets.
And
Seeing as I'm
always
playing as
sweep
Shenyu, that
away.
would actually sort of make sense.
Yeah, the emerald on his head would flare up, and yeah.
And then a striking dream beam would emit, and anyone who hit needs to save versus death or be disintegrated. Alright, now we have an interrogation chair, which means that we can interrogate people.
Awesome.
We also get a big witch interrogation device we want to use, because later on we will be able to use various other devices and non-torture devices to torture people. Now, this happens automatically here because, well, because the game is silly. But basically our henchman will be mean to the poor maid, and then she tells them about how civilized people like to be in hotels. And so we build a hotel, and we use that to distract all those agent-style people.
Wait, did he seriously just windmill his arm before booting her?
Yes.
That was
And
amazing.
now he's dance off.
That is awesome. This game just got so much more awesome.
To be fair, the animations were great in the game.
Holy cow.
The old cymbal slam. Tell me about the hotels.
Never clang.
And what happens? Well, the minion absorbs her knowledge and becomes a valet.
Huh.
Fucking magic.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's just... nothing is ever explained in that regard either. This is just how it is. Deal with it.
I wouldn't
Right.
want them to explain it, though, because no explanation could ever be more entertaining than the mystery.
Now then, this also gives us the ability to place things like security cameras, which are really handy, because they can basically go, oh no, there is an asshole coming. Better alert everyone.
I wish I had asshole detection systems.
Also, this is totally how sound works, by the way. If it actually hits a corner or something, it just stops.
Of course.
There is no such thing as an echo or, you know, sound traveling around corners.
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
Sound can only be heard if the minion in question has line of sight to the noise.
What, you mean you don't hear with your eyes? What's wrong with you?
I don't know, maybe my synesthesia just isn't quite as badass as I thought it was. Right, handgun cabinets, those are sort of handy. Rifle cabinets likewise. Basically, standard minions will only use handguns, but of course they are afraid of evil black rifles. Military minions, however, will gladly pick up machine guns and all kinds of cool rad-ass shit and just completely ruin everyone's day.
By the end game, you are actually building death rays.
Awesome.
We probably got heat now.
Oh yeah, probably. I would actually prefer if we got some more, because I sort of want to show off what happens when people arrive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be entertaining.
Right, we can now construct staff rooms. Why would we have a staff room where we're an evil organization? Well, I guess because we're nice dudes like that.
And of course, we can construct an inner sanctum.
What game of an evil genius would this be without an inner sanctum?
Yep. You gotta have some place to just relax, you know,
And
interrogate a
hold
few
evil
pretty
meetings.
ladies.
Yeah, that's a fun thing. It's actually used to hold evil meetings with other supervillains.
Yep.
Not just meetings, evil meetings.
Yes, evil meetings with fellow evil people.
And of course, evil donuts. And evil agendas.
Donuts are basically evil by design, but... Right, now that we are reaching critical power levels, it also makes note that, hey, by the way, you might want to build a power plant. And you go, wait, I've already basically designed half my freaking base at this point. Wait, why do you bring this up now? Because I'm a dick.
Yep.
It doesn't bring up power or your need for power until you are running out. At which time it can actually already be too late.
Classy. Classy.
You know it is. There is no entrance to your new room, it claims. Well, that's because that idiot hasn't fixed the corridor yet. Apparently we have a valet working in the control room. Not sure what is up with that. Well, we clearly need more minions.
But to do that, we need more bunk beds.
And so it goes on and on and on and on. Forever.
Yep.
Basically, in a sense, it's a very, very good simulation of a forcibly contained economy in the regard that you always need more workers and you always need more income, and by the time you actually build up to a certain point, the bubble will always burst and then everything collapses.
Yep.
And usually at around the same time, 2 or 3 teams of commandos with submachine guns storm your evil base and gun half of your workers down.
Yep.
When it evil rains, it evil pours.
Why are you walking? Seriously. That's right, speed up, you bastard. Also, fix your posture, you look terrible. I'm going to make an example out of you. I'm just going to pull out my kris here, and then I'm going to shank you right in the upper shoulder. And then your corpse is going to disappear.
That's nice of you, Arthur.
Because henchmen aren't real people.
Nope.
They don't leave body bags.
If they were, I'm sure I would actually feel them, but... no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, Skeleton H, Paradox is attempting a Dungeon Keeper clone pretty soon, called Empire. I'll hopefully be taking a look at that.
Nice.
Yeah, well, you know, on the one hand, it's a Dungeon Keeper clone, and that always gets people's hopes up, but on the other, Paradox.
Expect 9 patches before it's even playable.
So you might say that there's a paradox about the expectations for this game.
Oh ho, ho 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 ho, ho.
Now, one thing that you will realize. Power generators and capacitors are incredibly important to keep your things running. If you don't have enough power, alarms will go off, doors won't open, and so on. And saboteurs have this mysterious ability to always blow up the power generators first, because they know where they are. They just know.
They are all Bruce Willis.
Yep.
And yes, Soul Lumber, Paradox is pretty much the Obsidian of strategy games.
They promise such wondrous things and then never anything actually works.
Which is kind of ironic, because their PR people are some of the nicest I've ever met.
The Swedes.
Yeah.
Ah, explains a lot.
They're all hopped up on Farming Simulator.
Also, $5,000 school desks.
What?
So this is the NASA school of budget.
Clearly.
Also, you place a mouse maze in the center of the room, and it helps activate the brains of your minions as they are being trained, because they recognize themselves in the plight of the rodents.
I'm just waiting for someone to accidentally leave a briefcase in the middle of the power generator.
Luckily, power generators pretty much run on their own until they're inevitably sabotaged.
Yep. There's also the strange, curious things about counters and mess hall counters. Now, what's the difference between the two, you ask? $10,000.
Wow.
So what is the actual physical difference, you wonder?
If I recall, sod all.
Yeah. They just have slightly different food preparation equipment. One makes hamburgers and has a salad bar. The other has a very large boiler and mashed potatoes. But those mashed potatoes are $10,000.
Yeah, and the Syndicate FPS, I think it's barely being kept alive by the few goons who are interested in it.
As are so many things.
Oh, you mean Cindybloom. Oh, look at here. What's this? Well, it's the spy from TF2. Come to visit and take a look around.
While Kane just kind of goes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And whoops! Looks like they found a way into the security room, which means that they will investigate the holding cells and go, wait a minute. We also have someone just standing around right outside the door to this freezer room filled with body bags, and he just breaks the door open, and your minions do not give a single fuck.
yep.
And the PA informs that, oh no, there's a security door breach. No one gives a shit.
There is indeed an XCOM strategy game coming next year, I believe. Or is it September this year? One of the two.
Yeah, I think they were originally planning for release 2012, but I think it slipped to 13.
Yeah. They always do.
They always do.
Then there's Xenonauts. And obviously the fans are going to argue like buggery about which one is better. Because Xenonauts will allow you to use 50 squillion people. Oh, did one of your blokes just get offed?
Yep. That's what happens when heat gets too high locally. Basically, the local anti-criminal organization sends out an agent to off your lads. And since minions are terrible at combat, it means that you can lose handfuls at a time. The same can also happen if you attempt a mission and it doesn't quite work out.
Meanwhile, those freezers are thankfully kind of empty.
Kind of.
Yeah. Pick on Japan.
Yeah, screw you, Japan.
What we should do, in fact, are send some people over here and we can attempt a mission. that can finish our look at this terrible little game. Right. Now, here's another thing. In the case that your last valet dies, because only valets can trade new valets. Magic. You can send people off to Polynesia to kidnap a fresh maid. And then you interrogate her, and then your men learn the secrets of being polite and providing service.
Basically pretending not to be evil, even though... yeah. Hello, welcome to Shay Evil Base. We're not actually evil, that's just marketing. Ignore the torture room.
You can say that again now that we actually have tourists walking around. The tourists have managed to make their way into the base. Because, you know, we don't actually have an outside door, or even a sign that says private property.
And for most of the game, you never will.
Yep, because it takes until the second map to actually get the camouflaged entrance.
Which isn't really all that hot, actually.
Not really, no. It should also be mentioned that every level in this game is exactly the same, only that the general layout of the island changes and you get different objectives. All objectives, however, do come down to build a base, send minions, do missions, do final mission, win map.
Yeah. So, the reason it falls down is it's a slower, more clunky Dungeon Keeper.
Yep. And with not nearly the same charm.
Yeah.
Oh hey, it's burger time. He doesn't even change his clothes, which I found amazing. He just takes the helmet off and puts on a chef's hat and suddenly has chef skills. Apparently all the minions are psychometric, it's just that they're also really, really dumb. So how about that helicopter? Are you actually heading out yet? I placed that movement order 3 minutes ago.
You
actually,
didn't
where
assign
is
any
the
henchmen.
helicopter? That I did. I have
Arthur.
And yeah, I'm not seeing any henchmen or movement orders.
There we are, now they're there. Excellent. Alright. Mission time. So, what are we doing? Well, stolen secret documents reveal that Anvil is implementing a new round-the-clock offshore patrol system using disguised junks filled with the latest in electronic detection equipment. We can stretch this fledgling operation beyond breaking point by feeding the local dolphin population fish-wrapped radio and sonar beacons. Ho ho ho! How evil! So, what does this actually gain us? Well... basically what it gains us is notoriety, and notoriety is what decides your worth as an evil super genius. It also brings with it heat, which means that doing missions will guarantee that big angry people will come around to hit your shit.
Yeah.
And it seems that the mission failed, which means that everyone died.
There's also a cooldown.
Yep.
So we can't actually send anyone until the cooldown, but we get the heat anyway, so we're going to have some visitors.
Yeah. So punishment for failure, punishment for success, and no real point to actually doing the missions other than that is the only way to progress.
Yeah.
Be evil for evil's sake, so that you can be the most evilest.
Yeah, to be fair, probably all the henchmen got kind of propositioned by the dolphins, fatally.
Right. So that's Evil Genius, basically.
Yeah. Great idea. Absolutely bloody terrible implementation.
And they said after release, well, if the game does well enough, we'll probably make a sequel. And then the company disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how a lot of companies that go down start talking about sequels to their badly implemented games.
Oh no, agents have spotted us during our lunch hour. Now they will report home.
Bad news.
We're just going to ignore those assholes. Seriously, full alert. Kill orders, murder everyone.
And oh no, the valet.
The valet is fine. He went to grab a snack. Now, on alert mode, minions will arm themselves best they can, which basically means that standard minions will grab a pistol, shove it down their groin and run off. Now, as we are all responsible firearms aficionados here, I will remind you, never, ever, 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 ever put a firearm down the front of your pants unless you want to quickly and painfully change sexes.
Not so much change sex as lose your sex.
Oh, don't worry. He has a quick medical checkup and then just cross over the M and sign an F instead. Right. Also, in the midst of a red alert with the alarms blaring, someone is having a TV dinner. Shine on, you crazy little diamond, you. Shine
That
on.
would be a good note to move on to the next one.
I think so, yeah. Right. Evil Genius. Basically, James Bond plus Dungeon Keeper somehow ending up really, really, really boring.
Yep.
Quite impressive.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, I'm just going to turn the light on, so I will be surprised by the next game.
Right you are. We'll be right back with the next one, everyone.